What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here, once again being joined by the Riz Master.
Gershwan.
Today we're back at it with Riz in excess, because it's time for another For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. Also, if you guys enjoy our content and you want to support the channel, hit us up with a super thanks. If you do, you could ask us a question. It doesn't matter what it is, and we will answer it in the next episode, guaranteed, and we'll make you part of the legacy of the Greater WAAAGH by making it a thumbnail.
Right. Do you want to lead our next Greater WAAAGH? Comment down below.
And this question comes from
none other than Anatheo Connell. Do you guys think that Ferrus Manus could come back to lead none other than that of the Legion of the Damned? So that's an interesting question, because when I think of the Legion of the Damned, they're basically like ghost space marines, warp space marines, and right now they have no leader. There's no chapter master, there's no Primarch leading them, nothing like that. So Ferrus Manus would be an interesting character to lead them, because we know that he's dead, he's been beheaded, but of course when you die, at least if you're in the Imperium and you praise the Emperor, you get to join the Emperor's Army of the Light. So could that be an introduction into a new faction, into a new legion? Perhaps, but I don't think this is the right person to lead them.
No, but that is a good theory, though. And remember that everything that we're going to talk about is theories, and that's kind of what the Legion of the Damned is. It's really just like for fans to kind of create their own thing.
Right, because right now there's no concrete lore, concrete evidence to see who, what, where, when, why the Legion of the Damned exists.
Well, I mean, we know they're the Firehawks or whatever, but...
Rumored. I don't know if that's been, like, confirmed, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, everything in 40K is, like, wishy-washy.
Wishy-washy, yeah. But, like, so it wouldn't be the best, you're saying, Ferrus Manus?
I'd say Ferrus Manus is up there, but I don't think that's going to be the likely choice. Yeah. I feel like it'll probably be the Emperor.
Yeah.
Like, the Emperor will manifest to a Chaos God, and essentially the Emperor would be like the Khorne, the Tzeentch, Nurgle, Slanesh, and then his demons would essentially be the Legion of the Damned.
Yeah, basically Space Marine Saints is what the Legion of the Damned is, and if you have the Emperor leading them, they become the actual manifestation of the, Army of the Light within, like, the universe. And it gives them the superpower where they can be in multiple places at once.
Right, which is pretty crazy to think of, and it's something that the Imperium greatly needs. Because Space Marines, there's only a certain amount of them at any given time, and they can't be everywhere at once, and that's why sometimes there's like a distress beacon going out, and nothing gets answered for years.
Yeah.
And then the whole faster than light travel isn't really a thing in 40K. That's why warp travel needs to exist, and they could bypass all of that with the Legion of the Damned.
Yep. Now, the other thing would be that the Legion of the Damned, if they are the Firehawks and they got lost in the warp, then the ones leading them would be the chapter master of the Fire of the Hawks, who, you know, they would be a Codex compliant chapter, but with warp abilities.
Yeah.
Stuck within like this weird loop of like never ending existence, but also dead. So
yeah. So it's like, how do you kill something that's already dead? With fire.
With fire.
Warp fire, that is.
And GW hasn't come out with a Legion of the Damned army yet, right?
No, but I've seen a lot of conversions, and it involves those Primaris Marines with like the skull mask.
Oh, yeah.
Chaplains could be another easy way to convert. So it's there, but I think that would be something that GW is kind of holding in their back pocket. Because, I mean, who doesn't want to play Space Marines that are covered in bone and fire?
That's true. Super badass and or the rule of cool kicks in.
There you go.
And then they just all of a sudden become better than regular Space Marines. Good question. Let's move on. This question comes from Neo Acid Creep. Did y'all seriously just stop posting Greater WAAAGH videos for like 2 months and then come back and not even acknowledge it? Y'all both the GOATs, MVPs, if that is the case. Yeah.
Acknowledge what?
We existed, then we didn't, and now we do. Where we're from, time and space, it's not a thing.
Right. The warp works in mysterious ways.
Also, I got my heart broken. Next question.
I had to put a Band-Aid on that. This one's by The Big One. How come no one has anything good to say about the devil? Do you think it's because he's Hispanic or maybe even black?
So that's not entirely true. There's this guy I follow on TikTok who talks about like the Bible and like specifically like what the Bible and the Scripture meant for people at that time. And I think when it comes to the devil, like he has different incarnations because there's a lot of stories that all don't connect. Like it's not unilateral, right? So like the devil is not. It's a lot of things.
Right. Because oftentimes people think the devil is like Lucifer, or it's like a different manifestation, the morning star, the antithesis and stuff like that. Yeah. So there's a lot of different theories, a lot of different stories. But at the end of the day, is he just misunderstood?
He is, yeah.
Yeah, because when you look at Satanism as like a religion or a way of life, and you look at like Catholicism, Christianity, who's the bad guy here?
Not the ones drinking the blood of their, what was it?
Drinking the blood of a demigod in a room full of chanting elders.
Yeah, even though somebody corrected you and said he's not a demigod, he's a god.
True.
Even though, like, I guess the Holy Trinity is like...
Right, because he's the son of God, so then... But he's coming out of a surrogate human woman?
Yeah, so he's less than, but not really because he's God.
Right. But it's like, or did this woman just get knocked up by another man who wasn't her husband and created a whole religion because she didn't want to get caught for adultery?
Damn, that's like sticking to your lie.
It is.
Yeah.
We should ask that to our pastor.
No, I don't want to go back to church. I'm good.
He'll just cover it up and be like, "Why do you guys masturbate?"
Yeah.
And we'll be like, "Whoa, what?
Yeah.
We're 14."
Priests talking about masturbating to little boys? No.
Well, no, it couldn't be Catholicism.
No. If you were to pick a devil figure within 40K, who would you think it would be?
Oh, that's an interesting one, because I immediately want to go to like Horus/Abaddon.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think that would be the case. It would make more sense to be more like a figure in the Imperium, such as like...
It's a great deceiver.
True. Somebody that like looks good on the outside, but it's actually evil in the inside. And I want to kind of go with like Goge Vandire.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the dude was a horrible guy. He was using the Emperor as like, I'm his mouthpiece. What he says, I'm telling you. But it was just him just trying to get to power. And he did a whole lot of effed up things, killing a bunch of humans, creating the Brides of the Emperor, which later became the Sisters of Battle. Mm-hmm. And the dude didn't care about anybody but himself.
Yep.
So that's very, how do I put it?
Narcissistic.
I guess, yeah, it's very narcissistic because he's very insecure on the inside, but he's projecting himself as somebody who knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's why he didn't have time to die, and that's why he got beheaded.
Yeah, he was going crazy towards the end, too, right?
Well, I mean, you could say he was always crazy.
That's true.
But it's like a guy like that with that much power and that much of a persona, I would assume in death, maybe the Chaos Gods would fight for his soul and create like a demon or a demon prince out of it.
Yep.
That never came to pass. But I think it'd be pretty cool to see something like that, especially giving the Sisters of Battle like this awesome demon that always comes back to fight them and kind of be like a thorn in their side.
Yeah, kind of like a Vashtor, but for the Sisters of Battle.
Exactly.
That would be really cool. GW do that in the future.
I mean, they still could.
Well, yeah. One of the things that I think right now when we were talking about the devil and how he has different incarnations, I guess, because it's different stories. Mm-hmm. The same could be said about 40K, because like the Great Deceiver is literally a Catan.
Yeah.
So like he could be part of, like he could be a figure of or be a devil within like the orc culture or the orc races. You have what's his name, Mad Doc Grotznik, who's supposedly he created Godskoll Magor Thraka, but he didn't do it intentionally. Like he was just like tinkering,
messing around.
Yeah.
But was it all on purpose through like Gork and Mork or something like that?
Yeah. So like you have different figures in different areas. Also Korn. I think like Korn is like physically or appearance wise, he's the one.
Oh yeah. Like, when you think of devils, you would think of Korn, the Bloodletters, etc.
Bloodletters, yeah.
And speaking of Korn, it actually brought up somebody that probably fits the bill the most. That's Be'lakor.
Oh yeah, Be'lakor.
Yeah, Be'lakor is actually praised by other humans and civilizations as a god. Yeah. The dude tricked the gods to gain more power. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think Be'lakor fits the bill perfectly.
He's one of the most powerful greater demons, or he's not even a greater demon, right? He's like
I guess you could call him a greater demon, but yeah he's a beast.
Next question.
This one is by user MS1NF3YP3P. Here's my question. What if a long-lost dark age of technology human empire, vast and powerful, had been hidden for thousands of years, since the start of the Age of Strife, and revealed itself to this war-torn galaxy? What effect would it have on the current warring factions?
They would just attack it, and I think that can be said for the Leagues of Voltan.
True.
Technically, they were always there, but they were just on the outskirts of space, which is GW's way of saying, like, you know, we didn't, like, this is us covering them now.
Yeah.
But what did the Imperium do? They just saw it as a threat.
Mm-hmm.
They attacked it. What did the Necrons do? Just a threat. Orcs, a threat. That's it.
Tyranids, food.
Yeah.
Tau. Oh, maybe they'll join the greater good.
They didn't.
Yeah. So just like in the Great Crusade, if it's a vast imperial empire, they're going to try and get them into imperial fold, get them to praise the emperor, and if not, obliteration.
Obliteration. And then last question, I have one from Variable Reciprocity. Why does the majority of the artwork depicting the Imperial Navy in 30K have a Gothic style to protect them from the warp when chaos was not well known? Technically speaking, shouldn't the ships have a more sleek design? So no. So like the timeline of 40K is that the majority of these battleships that are used in the Imperium are actually created during the Unification War with STCs of the Golden Age of Technology. So the Golden Age of Technology, that's when you would have like sleek looking...
The sci-fi futuristic ships that like you see on like Star Trek, Star Wars that are like sleek and like the whole normal concept of a sci-fi spaceship.
Yeah, because at the core, like the all that stuff, the engines, all that is something that is still there within the battleships of today. It's really the outlook or like the appearance of the ships that then changed. And then that gets created during the Unification War when the Emperor controls, I want to say Saturn and Mars. So around the rings of Mars, there's like the or I forget what it's called.
Yeah, the dockyards.
Yeah, there's a bunch of dockyards and they create battleships. But by then, there's already like a sense of religion within the cult Mechanicus, because that's what the whole what was it, like the something on Olympus Mons or whatever, the Treaty of Olympus Mons, which is basically a treaty between the Emperor and Mars to say we're going to keep our religion, we're going to keep believing in the Omnissiah, but we're going to give you these ships. So that's where that Gothic architecture comes from. It's actually from religious backgrounds created by the Martians, and then that jumped over to Saturn, because Saturn also had like the capabilities of creating ships.
Right, a bunch of forges, and eventually it became forge roads.
Yep. So that's why you have that appearance. Good question, though. The timeline of 40K is very tricky. And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. Thank you so much for hanging out, and we'll talk tomorrow.
That's right. Keep those questions, guys, and so will we. And once again, it's been the Sound Alchemist,
Gershwan,
and we are out of here.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.